At that critical moment, I used my knife to save the man. After careful observation, I smashed the gemstones on both sides of the door. Instantly, the statue on the gate spewed out a stream of sand. Under the power of the flowing sand, the massive anchor stone slowly descended. The entrance to the ancient tomb finally opened, and above the doorway were the words "Reception Hall" inside the chamber. Aside from 2 coffins, the surroundings were filled with wooden puppets. I noticed that the spherical objects looked like candles on the puppets, so I took out my lighter and lit them. The fireballs rolled along the tracks, igniting each sphere one after another when the entire room was illuminated by the flames. I saw 2 life-size puppets standing in the center. They seemed to be the owners of this tomb. Beside them were chests upon chests of gold. My companions were instantly captivated by the dazzling treasure. Their eyes filled only with greed, completely forgetting where we were. They began prying open the coffins, eager to take whatever riches they saw. But the moment the coffin lids were lifted, all the puppets turned their heads. A strange sound echoed through the tomb, as if some mechanism had been triggered. Then, all the puppets began playing their instruments in unison. That eerie melody reverberated through the air. I immediately sensed something was wrong, and shouted for everyone to cover their ears, but it was too late. My uncle was the first to fall under the spell of the music. When he turned around, he realized he was the only one left. He desperately searched for his companions, but just then, a puppet's voice called out his name, terrified. My uncle quickly apologized to the puppet, but as he tried to turn and leave, a woman dressed in white suddenly appeared behind him. At the same time, the others were facing horror as well. They were surrounded by puppets wielding weapons. The wooden figures stood in perfect formation, advancing toward them step by step in the moment of danger. I slashed my finger with my knife and flung my blood toward the woman in white. I slipped the ring off my finger, and I precisely deflected the hidden arrow heading my way. Seeing that, the thug realized he had picked on the wrong man, so he fled with his 2 lackeys. Then I noticed the tea in the cup had turned black, which meant the arrow had been tipped with poison. I ordered my men to search for that man thoroughly, and to make sure none of them left the city alive. My name is Jack. I am the current Minister of Defense for this city, and today I came to ask my good friend Tom to trace the ring's origin. But when Tom saw the ring, his face went grave, and he flatly refused to help. He even warned me not to dig any deeper, saying it was far too dangerous. All of this started a few nights ago, when train number 076 slowly rolled into the city station. The night watchman was startled awake by the commotion. He didn't understand why a train would arrive at that hour. Carrying his lantern, he went to investigate, and found every carriage sealed with metal plates. Even stranger, when he tried to pry open the metal covering the windows, a dark red fluid oozed out slowly, and on closer inspection, he realized it was blood. He ran to the front of the train and wiped the window hard, and what he saw inside the carriage shocked him to the core. The next morning, I immediately cordoned off the scene, and our investigation revealed it was a military train, but that train had been missing for nearly 30 years. I entered the train to search, and found the entire train stacked with coffins, each corpse lying face down. After the last carriage full of bodies, we found a locked coffin, set apart from the rest. I knew that coffin was no ordinary coffin, and I wanted to open it, but it was tightly sealed with only a small opening on top. Forcing it open would release a deadly gas. The only option was to reach inside and unlock it from the inside. I ordered my men to haul the coffin to the station, and we prepared to open it, but for safety we tied a rope, readied a large pair of shears, and brought a horse. If anything went wrong during the opening, the others would signal immediately. The shears would sever the soldier's arm at once. One man could sacrifice a hand to save everyone else. For the city's safety, I decided to open the coffin myself, and then I turned the latch. Just as the spear was about to strike the target, the guy named Connor suddenly leaped forward, snatched the spear, then rolled to dodge the fatal blow, and plunged the spear into the demon's abdomen. I was furious, because according to the rules, the person who personally killed the demon would gain command over 1 million dog-headed soldiers, and thus conquer the entire world.
Go to hell and take your friend! It's with you!
With a roar from Connor, the demon was killed. Millions of dog-headed soldiers vanished instantly. He had stolen my victory, and the demon, unwilling to return to hell, made one last desperate struggle. Its body turned into a huge cloud of smoke, rushing out of the pyramid with screams of pain. But the frantic struggle was meaningless. Soon, the death god Anubis dragged it back to hell. The pyramid lost its magical support and began collapsing from the inside. At that moment, Connor and I fell into the abyss together, desperately grabbing the cliff's edge. Countless vengeful souls tore at our ankles, trying to drag us into hell at the critical moment. Connor's wife rushed over, ignoring the danger. She pulled Connor to safety through the rubble. I believed Maria would come to save me too, because we had loved each other for 3,000 years, but she abandoned me and escaped alone. At that moment, my heart completely shattered. I had endured the harshest punishments of ancient Egypt for her. Only to be betrayed by my lover, I felt utterly hopeless. So I let go and stopped struggling, falling into hell. And the ruthless Maria didn't escape fate either. During her escape, she accidentally fell into a tunnel filled with venomous scorpions. Meanwhile, Connor and his family escaped outside the pyramid. They saw the vast oasis being rapidly swallowed by the pyramid. They had no choice but to desperately climb toward the top of the tower. Yet even so, they couldn't escape the desert's engulfing fate, just as they lost hope. Embracing each other, waiting for death, a mysterious figure appeared beside them.